In Acts 9, God was ready to have his day of wrath and judge the world, but he unexpectedly saved and raised up the Apostle Paul on the road to Damascus. This marked the beginning of a new dispensation, or program, that God had kept secret since the world began. God's prior program with the nation of Israel to establish the kingdom on the earth was temporarily suspended. This present dispensation in which we are now living was a secret or mystery, meaning that it was never known about previously. In all of the Bible, from Genesis up to Acts 9, this dispensation was never once mentioned. This dispensation is separate from God's time past program with Israel, and there are several differences between these two programs. The main difference is that while God's program with Israel was designed to repossess the earth and establish God's kingdom, the dispensation of grace is designed to repossess the heavenly places. God revealed to Paul his plan to repossess the heavenly places from Satan, the prince, the power of the air. The revelation of this dispensation blindsided Satan, since up to this point God had only talked about repossessing the earth. Now, having revealed that he would repossess both the earthly and heavenly realms, God proved that he would defeat Satan and be the one and only Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Another major difference is that today, God is not dealing with Israel as his chosen nation. Instead, he is dealing with everyone on the basis of his grace. Jews and Gentiles are not separate but one, with no difference between them. The Apostle Paul notes that the gospel message for eternal salvation is offered equally to both Jews and Gentiles. Even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ unto all, and upon all them that believe, for there is no difference. This is quite different from time past in Israel's program when Gentiles could only be saved through God's dealings with Israel. The fact that God is using both Jews and Gentiles to repossess the heavenly realm is a part of the mystery revealed to Paul. Saints today are forming the body of Christ. Members of this body will replace areas of rulership in the heavenly places currently held by angels who sided with Satan. In this present dispensation, God has chosen to deal with us solely by means of his grace. The law contract was a covenant that God made only with the nation of Israel, not with the Gentiles. Since God suspended his program with Israel, the law covenant is also in suspension. The Apostle Paul makes note of this in Romans 6:14, saying, "We are not under the law, but under grace." Today, God is being long-suffering before he begins his day of wrath. Since God is not recognizing his covenants with Israel today, the results of those covenants are not in effect. For example, the 5 courses of punishment were all brought upon Israel for their failure to comply with the law contract. But since God does not operate upon the law covenant today, neither Israel nor any other nation is undergoing the 5 courses of punishment. Furthermore, all miracles, signs, wonders, and other forms of divine intervention mentioned previously in the Bible are not in effect today because they were covenanted only with Israel. While miracles were designed for specific purposes in Israel's program, the Apostle Paul says today, "We walk by faith, not by sight." However, God does perform something much more powerful in our inner man. Today, God offers us the chance to be educated as his sons. As Paul says, all the things of this world are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. This dispensation of Gentile grace is only temporary. God has still yet to fulfill some of the covenants he made with Israel. As the Apostle Paul points out, God only brought blindness in part upon Israel. Paul goes on to say that after this dispensation ends, Israel shall be saved. When Israel's program resumes, the covenants that God made with Israel will once again be in effect. God's program with Israel will pick up right where it left off, and God will be ready to have his day of wrath.